Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us today on our webinar today. We have a good topic for you. Wanted to get a couple housekeeping things out of the way before we get going. If you have a question, there's a question box on the little GoToWebinar applet. You can type it in there and we will take a look at those at the end of the webinar. And if any of them I need to follow up with some information from a tech, be happy to do that as well. And my name is George Pasadakis. I'm with Apex Technology Management, and I hope you get some good value out of what we are going to be showing today. And our topic today is Windows 10. What do you need to know about it, and how do you need to prepare for the Windows 7 end of life event before your time runs out? We've got what seems like a lot of time, but it really is not, to get everything done. So just had a couple quick topics on Apex, just so everybody that's on the call will know what we do. We're a managed IT services provider operating throughout California. We've got offices in the North State here in Redding and in Central California in Fresno, and we have technicians in Sacramento and Southern California as well now. So we're able to handle businesses throughout California, which is great. We are growing, got 30 plus employees. We've been rated by MSP Mentor as number 258 on their top 501 list of global managed service providers. You can see a picture of our headquarters building there, and we're partners and have certifications with all the major IT vendors. Main things that we do, like I mentioned, we offer managed services where we basically keep your technology safe, secure, and stable. We do the monitoring and patching. We're going to talk a lot about patching on this call with security updates. We also really want to make sure all of our clients have a good backup and disaster recovery plan. If you're in the North State, you know this year was a really rough summer with the various fires that went through, and really reinforces that you have to have a good backup and disaster recovery plan for your business in place. We'll also handle end user support. So we have a fully staffed help desk here. Our average time to answer and get you to a technician is 17 seconds, so we're very proud of that. We also have a full professional services department for project work and consulting services, IT assessments, upgrades like we're going to talk about today for Windows and other things. And then of course, where it makes sense, we'll work with you on coming up with a cloud services strategy. Does it make sense to host any of your applications in the cloud as you grow and scale? Or is it better to keep them locally? Or in many cases, a hybrid approach may be the best thing for you. So full range of services. We're here to help you guys out, or any businesses that you know. Okay, I also wanted to mention, as always, this webinar is going to be recorded and it will be posted to our YouTube page. We've got a lot of content on our YouTube page now. And the way to get to that is you can simply go to apex.com, scroll all the way to the bottom, and you will see the social media buttons, and click the YouTube button and it will take you right to our page. And once you get to the page, you'll see a couple sections in there with a lot of good information. Our most popular things are some of the testimonials, but also the productivity webinars that we've done over the past year. Our Excel tips and Google search engine tips are really popular, and everybody that goes through those emails me and says, oh, I've been using Excel for years. I learned some great stuff from there. So encourage you to look at those. They're free, share the links, all that good stuff. But we will record this and post it, and you'll get an email when that's done, so you can revisit this and maybe share it if you think you need to. Okay, let's get on to today's topic. As I mentioned, it's kind of has a dual approach. We're going to talk about Windows 7 and where that is in its product life cycle, what you need to know about it, how to prepare to migrate off, because we have some deadlines looming, and then also we'll start talking about Windows 10. What is it? What are some of the key features and advantages of moving to that platform? And then I'll show you hopefully some cool stuff that you'll like, and you'll get excited about Windows 10. Even if you're using it now, maybe you'll pick up a couple of good tips and increase your productivity or satisfaction using it. All right, I wanted to throw out there a brief history of Windows 7. It was released in 2009. If you guys remember using Windows Vista, it was very troublesome, very slow, got to be a pretty bloated operating system. Not a lot of people were very happy with it, so Microsoft poured a ton of resources in developing Windows 7, and it was a hugely successful upgrade. People moved off Windows Vista very quickly, and based on the latest figures I can find, Windows 7 still has 46.6% of all Windows PCs market share. So it's still out there on 184 million commercial PCs, many, many millions more home PCs as well. When the end of life date is here in January 2020, they still think there will be 35% of all active Windows systems will be on Windows 7, which you don't want to be one of those. And we'll talk about why. Microsoft classifies support into two main categories here. They call it mainstream support and extended support. When you have a Microsoft operating system or other product, Office, SQL Server, that kind of thing, when they first release it, they usually provide 5 years of mainstream support, which means they're still making enhancements, they're fixing bugs, they provide technical support for it, they'll put out some new features and improvements, and of course, keep the security updates for any known exploits that come out on that product. After the 5 years, they put it into what they call extended support. And generally that runs another 5 years. And what they do is they stop adding new things to the product, no new features. They don't do complimentary support. You can still get support generally, but you might have to pay for it. And they still do provide bug fixes and security patches. That's the important thing. So you can still run something in extended support, feel comfortable that if there's a known exploit that's discovered out there, or a hacker comes up with some way to get into the system, they will respond quickly, provide a security patch, send that out through the normal Windows update technology that's in place. And with Windows 7, that's where we are today. We're in extended support. You're totally safe using it right now to the extent that the operating system can protect you. Windows 10 is more secure with that redesign. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But today we're in that extended support period. What does that mean for my business? Okay, we know that extended support period is going to end in less than 14 months. It ends on January 14th, 2020. A lot of people we talk to say, oh, I'm good. I've got through 2020 to get my organization migrated off Windows 7. Well, it's really the end of 2019, end of next year, and we're almost at the end of 2018. So you don't want to start thinking about this during Christmas and New Year's to get off by January 14th. So we're recommending and telling clients you should be off before the end of 2019. If you don't move off Windows 7, what does that mean? You know, there's nothing technical in it that's going to stop working. You'll still be able to use it. It's going to do what it always did. But the main thing is there will be no security patches being developed from Microsoft and being sent out to you. So if there's a new exploit that's discovered or a new way to get into a Windows 7 system, that is going to be taken advantage of by all the different bad guys that are out there and puts you and your business at risk. And it's not just that particular machine. If that machine is connected to a business network, like most of you guys have, you're going to see those exploits get on your network and cause other damage or issues or spread to other machines that you may have. And we saw that with Windows XP. A lot of people stayed on Windows XP long after it went out of extended support, and it got hit really hard with ransomware. And you know, I pretty much guarantee you right now, hackers are already working on ways to exploit vulnerabilities when Windows 7 goes end of life. So generally not something you want to do. I kind of tell people it's like right now it's on life support. You can see that little picture on the right. People are going to keep it alive and keep you protected, but once January 14th, 2020 rolls around, you're pretty much on your own. They're going to unplug the life support and you're going to be really at risk at that point if you're still on it. Also, a couple things. If, you know, when you're not getting those regular security patches, you're at the mercy of the hackers. We talked a lot about that already, but you don't want to be running it at that point. If you are a business that has certain compliance requirements like healthcare with HIPAA, or you take credit cards and you have PCI, payment card industry requirements you need to meet, they don't specifically say in their guidelines that Windows 7 after January 14th, 2020 is not supported and you can't be running it. What they do have is more generic language. For HIPAA, basically it says you need to have procedures for safeguarding your data, including guarding against detecting and reporting malicious software. And if you're not running a supported operating system like Windows 7, when that date has come and gone, you're really in a difficult spot to prove your compliance because it's a known fact and you're not in position to have security patches on your system to protect that patient information. So there's been fines already levied by Health and Human Services for HIPAA violations for organizations that were not doing security patching properly and left themselves exposed. Same thing with PCI. I snipped a little section right there from their requirements document, and it says you need to ensure that all your system components and software are protected from known vulnerabilities by installing the vendor-supplied security patches. That will all stop in January of 2020. Microsoft has announced, you may have seen in the news, they will continue security patches for another year or two. I forgot the exact duration, but you're going to have to pay them for it, and it's not going to be cheap. So it's something that usually large corporations with multiple tens of thousands of systems might take advantage of because they didn't plan enough with enough lead time to get it converted off. But anyway, for most small and medium businesses, you want to make sure that you have a plan to be completely off Windows 7, early Q4 in 2019. Okay, so if you have Windows 7, what do? You need to come up with a plan. And there's several key components of the plan I wanted to talk about today. Basically, we talk about assess, implement, and train. So when you're assessing your environment, you want to do a complete system inventory. You want to identify all the machines and devices that you have that are running Windows 7 and determine if they can be upgraded or you need to replace them with a new device. On the right there, we have our recommendation. Apex recommends your PCs, your workstations, are replaced every 3 to 5 years. Windows 10, which is coming on all new machines, was released in July of 2015, which means most machines that came with Windows 7 on them are going to be ready for replacement in that 2019 window. The requirements for running Windows 10 are pretty low. Most Windows 7 machines, in the last couple years of when Windows 7 was shipping have enough horsepower to run Windows 10, but it's not that good of an experience. If it's not a very recent machine, your productivity is not going to be as good. It will work, it will run, but if your machine's more than 3 or 4 years old, it's probably going to be better, and you'll have more productivity for your employees if you put a new machine that comes with Windows 10 on it. To upgrade, if you don't have licensing for Windows 10 already, it's $199 per PC for Windows Professional. We'll talk about the different editions of Windows 10. But at that point, I would consider replacing the entire PC with something with, much more than the minimum requirements of memory, which is like 1 gigabyte on a 32-bit systems and 2 gigabytes if you have a 64-bit operating system. We are recommending right now and installing for all of our clients Windows 10 machines that have 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs solid state drive, and they run noticeably faster. They boot up faster. They're much smoother to run. You can run more applications. So I'd take a good look at that. How old are your machines? If you're an Apex client and you're on the call, your VCIO will help you take a look at that inventory. We have inventory tools, and we already know all of our clients that have the system, so we are making plans over the next 12 months to get all of those handled. We'll talk about some reasons why you may want to push that up sooner than later, a couple slides out. But anyway, so you need to do a system inventory, identify all the machines that are on your network. Where are they? Can they be upgraded, or should they be replaced? Some machines, when Windows 10 was out, even for the first year, some applications were not tested and supported by their vendors on Windows 10 yet. They took a little while to get there. Those we ordered in some cases with Windows 10 with a Windows 7 downgrade. So you already may have a license for Windows 10 on some of those machines, and some of those could have enough hardware specs to run Windows 10 well. So that's something we're looking at as well. But anyway, so you need to do that inventory. Then you need to evaluate your software application. This is very important. A lot of our business clients have different line of business applications for their particular industry. If you're a lawyer, you're going to have case management software. If you're healthcare, you're going to have electronic health records, maybe running QuickBooks for accounting, that kind of a thing. You want to look at all those applications that you're running, and are they tested and supported to run on Windows 10? If you haven't been keeping up and upgrading them to current version, there's the likelihood that some may not be compatible with Windows 10 and pose some issues for you, or your vendor may not provide support for it if you have an issue and you have data corruption and you need to get the vendor involved, for example. So you want to look and build a little matrix of all the software applications you have. Is it a current version, and is it something that the vendor has tested and supports on Windows 10? In some cases, you may need to upgrade some of those before you do this project or in conjunction with doing the project to moving everything to Windows 10. Old peripherals and devices such as printers and scanners, some of them don't work with Windows 10 if they're really old. Drivers don't exist for Windows 10. You may have some issues there. So once you've got that inventory of your systems, software, peripherals, you want to come up with you'll know what you're dealing with at that point, and you want to come up with a timeline and a budget for those upgrades. Something Apex can help you out with. If you need help doing those upgrades and replacing the systems, installing the new versions of software, we do that all the time. We're going to be real busy as this next 13 and a half months clicks off. And then once you have that in, you're going to need to train your employees. Windows 10 is pretty similar to Windows 7. There are some new things, some different things. So it's good to have a training plan to show people the basics of Windows 10. And some of the things I'll show you today, you want to make sure they know so they can get the most out of the new operating system. There's some productivity enhancements in there that they'll find nice, and rather not have them struggle through that with a new computer and a new operating system. So that's it. Assess, implement, train. So recap, the time to act is now. You don't want to wait till the last minute. I know at Apex, we're going to get lots of calls from businesses that are not doing anything until the very end, and we may be so busy with these projects that we may not have time to get to everybody. And you may be looking at hiring a different consultant. They may not have the experience. They may have raw people they just ramped up with to get this done, and it's not going to be as smooth a transition. So again, don't wait till 2020. It's really, you got to be done by the end of 2019. That means done. Project is done. New computers are in, working on your network, software applications are upgraded, and your staff trained. A couple of other things. Section 179, I've got some webinars on our YouTube page with that, but that allows your business, if you're in good position from a profit perspective, if you need a tax deduction, if you have $30,000 project to replace your Windows 7 machines with Windows 10, if you did that, got organized enough and did it this year, you can deduct the full cost of that from your 2018 taxes instead of depreciating it over time. So that's IRS Section 179 deduction. If you have any questions on that, I can give you some general information, but you should really talk to your CPA or tax advisor for that. They'll be very familiar with it. But that section, I will tell you, in order to claim that deduction, the technology has to be ordered, purchased, installed, and in use by the end of 2018. It's not good enough just to sign a quote or a proposal and cut a check. It's got to be in use, placed into use. We also have, you guys have been hearing about this on the news, tariffs, okay, they're definitely here, and they're a real thing as we go through the period where all of this is being sorted out. And we've already seen last month a 10% increase in some products that are coming in, lots of networking products and computers. Cisco, we do a lot of Cisco networking gear, a lot of price increases from that. They're made here, but they use components from China and other countries. So we're already seeing a big jump in that. There's another 15% jump set for January 1st, 2019. So anything that you put together and install now, you could save up to 25% of the cost by not waiting until January when those tariffs will be increasing. The 10% tariff that already has hit Apex right now through the end of the year, we are absorbing that. So we're making a lot less margin on anything that we do, and we're holding our prices to where they were before that tariff went in. But when January hits, the full 25% is going to be into effect. So we're trying to help our clients through the situation. So if you have a project that you need done, if we can help you out with that, we can keep the prices down even on what was already increased through the tariffs. And then of course the whole trade war situation is tense. We don't know where that's going to go. There could be additional tariffs, there could be tariffs on other products. So it's just a known risk that's out there on what it's going to be down the line. Nobody really knows. And then of course the other dynamic that's going on is as the economy is doing really well, the Fed is trying to prevent inflation from happening, so they're increasing commercial interest rates. Lots of our clients like to lease these types of projects over a couple of years, and those rates are going up, and something you should know about. So there's a lot of drivers. If you're in position to do this quickly, get a hold of us. We will get that, help you scope that out right away. And on the right there, I say if you need help, we've got some help that we can give to you. Okay, the start of your plan, as I mentioned, was that assessment, and you need to know what is your system inventory. In a lot of cases, if you have multiple sites and a lot of computers, you may not know how many Windows 10 you already have, how many Windows 7 remain. And if you contact us, either myself, George at apex.com, or you call us, or you talk to your VCIO. We'll do this assessment for you free. We'll tell you what your system inventory is, so you at least know how many Windows 7 machines you're looking at, and then that can be the starting point for your migration plan. So if you need some help there, work that as quickly as you can, and we'd be happy to take a look. Okay, let's switch gears on to Windows 10. Get to a little bit more exciting information. All right, Windows 10 came out in July of 2015, so it's been out there a while now, over 3 years, and it's the fastest growing version of Windows ever. It's on 700 million devices in homes and businesses in those 3 years. It's got a little bit over 50% market share, depending on who you check, for devices that run Windows. And of all personal computers, including Macs and Linux and things, it's, I think, around 34%. So it's definitely a huge success. All the new machines that you would buy are coming with this anyways. And there's been a shift with the way Microsoft is doing Windows versions now as an operating system. They're describing Windows 10 as an operating system as a service. And what that means is they're not coming out with Windows 11, Windows 12, or new names of it like they have in the past. What they're doing is just upgrading Windows 10 with new features and updates. So they've already, 1 year after the release, they came out with what they call the anniversary update, which added a lot of nice features. Then they came out with the creators update. So they're giving them names like that, and they're adding features targeted into certain areas. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. But Windows 10 is, our clients that are running it really love it. There's a lot of features if you take advantage of. Your team can be more productive and happier using their computers, which is good for everybody. Okay, a big piece of Windows 10 when Microsoft was designing it was they needed to make it more secure. Obviously, you guys hear about all of the different threats that are out there, and hacking and phishing and exploits that are out there, and ransomware. It's just really ugly. We deal with so much of that here. It's getting worse and worse. So you really need to get your organization into the point that we call safe, secure, and stable. And Windows 10 goes a long way towards doing that from the desktop operating system level. They greatly improved the security over Windows 7. They designed it as a hardened version of their operating system against all the main known exploit strategies that are out there used by the hackers that are creating things. They're trying to steal your information. So there's a lot of different layers of security within Windows 10. One example that brought this to light last year, you guys may have heard, or you can look up on Google, the WannaCry ransomware. It was a big deal around the world, and the vast majority of infected systems were on Windows 7. Windows 10 users were unaffected. The security additions Microsoft built in, the different layers of protection into Windows 10 prevented that one from affecting people. So right there is an example, and that's even Windows 7 with patches. Okay, never mind once the extended support period comes and goes and there are no patches, it still is more vulnerable than Windows 10 right now. One of the nice things with Windows 10 is they have this security center. You can see the screenshot on the right where you have all the different aspects, and you can see green check marks, and that'll help determine what kind of shape that particular workstation is in. So, and it'll pop up messages if any of these get out of spec and you need to provide some attention. If you're an Apex client, we're managing this for you, and we have our antivirus system called Apex Endpoint Security, which has its own layers of protection, and that integrates with the security center, and you'll be able to see if that's working or not, but we do monitor that for you as well. So much more secure than Windows 7. There's multiple versions of Windows 10. They did simplify it. If you recall, with Windows 7, they had Windows 7 Home, Windows 7 Home Premium. There's a lot of different packages, Windows Professional. With Windows 10, they have one version of Home. They have a version of Pro or Professional, and that's the version you should be looking at a minimum. That's what our business clients are running. And then if you're a large organization or there are specific features you want to take advantage of, they have the enterprise version and education, of course, for that marketplace. But let's take a look at Pro. The main features that you're going to need with Windows 10 Professional, your computers, your workstations are joined to what we call a domain. You have a domain-based network versus a workgroup network. Workgroups are for really small 5 and under companies or home PCs. Once you have a server, a domain controller server that enforces security and password policies and those types of things, which most of you on the call probably have, you need a Windows 10 professional version. If you just go buy PC from Office Depot or Best Buy, guess what? It comes with Windows Home. You're going to need to spend another $199 to do that upgrade to Windows Professional. So you definitely want Pro to be joined to your domain network. Once it's on the network, there's a lot of great capabilities. Apex or yourself or other providers, IT departments use what's called group policy management. And there's group policy objects. There's ways to do programming on the network level that can get pushed out and affect all of the computers on your network at once, as opposed to somebody going around to each individual machine to make the same change or check the particular value that's out there. So you definitely want that. Remote desktop, some clients have a terminal server and you can remote onto it and run with remote desktop, so you're going to want that. It has virtualization at the client level. Not too many of our clients are doing that. We use a lot of virtualization at the server level. And then very importantly, it has BitLocker. That used to be something you had to go on Windows 7 to the enterprise or pay for this separately. I think it was $149. But BitLocker, I highly encourage you, if you have mobile devices, laptops, tablets, running Windows, that you have them encrypted. And now it's included with Windows 10 Pro. No extra cost to do that. We can turn that on. And what that means is your hard drive that stores all the information on that device is encrypted. And if you have your laptop or tablet stolen, or you accidentally leave it in your laptop bag hanging on a chair at Starbucks and you go back for it and it's gone, you don't have to worry. Your data is encrypted. A bad guy is not going to be able to boot that machine up and get to any of your data. They're not going to be able to take the hard drive out of that machine, put it in another machine and have it work and get any data. So BitLocker is a great thing. You don't need any extra layers. It's really easy to activate in Windows 10, and you have a good sense of security. For healthcare, we've seen circumstances where laptops with PHI, protected health information, are lost or stolen. And if you can prove you had BitLocker on that device, it's not considered a HIPAA violation. If you can't prove that it was encrypted sufficiently, it's on you, and you now have a HIPAA violation you're looking at. So especially for healthcare and other sensitive industries, highly encourage you to get all of your mobile devices or even desktops now, or turn it on encryption in many cases in case those get stolen. Servers, we can order those with self-encrypting drives as well. So something to think about with the current threat environment that's out there. So the message here is make sure in your plan for migration, you are going to Windows Pro or Windows Enterprise. Okay, that's the information I had on Windows 7 end of life and Windows 10. Now I want to give you guys a quick look at Windows 10, and I'm going to talk about these features and a couple more. Windows 10 is a really cool operating system. I'm going to just close the PowerPoint and you guys will be seeing my desktop now. So hopefully you see my desktop, and this is Windows 10. You can see I got a little bit of clutter, not too bad on my desktop with shortcuts. This is what I use every day, and I've got the start menu. Okay, one of the things Windows 8 took away from Windows 7 was the start menu. They learned real quick and they put it back into Windows 10. It looks a little different. It's not the round start button, but down here in the bottom left, you have the new Windows tile look. I can click that, and now I get my start menu to pop out, and it's got a better start menu than Windows 7 had. You can see here on the left side, I have all of my applications I can scroll through, which I have a lot of stuff installed. And let's say I wanted to go to PowerPoint, okay, and I'm way up here in the list. Instead of scrolling constantly, if you click on any letter right here where it says A, or right here where it says B, you click on a letter, you get this little quick jump menu. If you don't know about this, very handy. If I want to go to P for PowerPoint, I hit that, and there it is, front and center. I want to go to E for Excel, so I'm not scrolling. I hate constant scrolling. This is a quick little shortcut. So that's a cool feature that they added to the Windows 10 start menu. Through settings, you can also customize what appears over here on the left. But the main thing are these tiles on the right side. And you can see here, I've got mine organized. A lot of people, they just leave the defaults, and I like to use this to my advantage. So what do I do every day, all day? I put it on this start menu so I can get to it quickly and not have to hunt around. So these tiles are customizable. I can drag and move one around, put it in a different position. But you can see here, I have a folder for my sales tools at Apex. Since I'm in sales here, I don't want to go to my network drive, navigate down 5 different levels. I just hit the start menu, click this button, and there's my sales tools, and I could load them right up. Our total support calculator, all the different tools that we use very quickly, quick to access. Same thing, I have a marketing folder for my marketing documents. If I need to go to a certain drive on our network, I can shortcut that right in there. And these are just dragged out into this space and dropped in here, and you now have it. And then you can organize them. So this is my file shortcuts group. This is my Apex Common Applications group. Play and explore. I have Netflix. Don't tell Scott, but I've got Netflix on here, and Spotify. If I need some music in the background while I'm working on a PowerPoint, different things. We'll talk about it a little bit more later, but I can group my applications and move an app from one group to another just by dragging and dropping it. And now the alarms and clock is in the play and explore, but I'm going to move it back over here. You can move an entire group around into a different spot on the menu. I'm going to put it back. So very flexible. All the quick apps that I use, I don't need to go scroll through and do all this. I just hit my start menu and I can launch into my quoting tool with one click right there. Very fast. So this is your Metro interface, they may call it. You may have heard it called tile interface. You can right click on a tile. And you can, let's say I use this quoting app so much, I want to make it bigger. I can right click on it. I get the little pop out menu and I could say resize, and I guess that's as big as it goes. I can make it smaller and fit more in here, but I'm gonna set it back. I know some of these, like the Microsoft News app, I can make wide and it'll take up more space, or this one's what's called a live tile. It actually has stuff, active content in it, which we'll talk about in a second. I'm gonna put that back, drag this guy back in here. That's what I like. So you can customize these tiles. If there's an application you want to pin to your taskbar, which is this bar down at the bottom, I can hit the more button and click pin to taskbar, and that's going to now show up down here for quick access as well. So that's pretty easy. So that's part of the start menu there. Add your applications, organize them, right click to resize or get some other options. I mentioned live tiles. You can see these two are scrolling through. This is a Microsoft News app, and this is the Microsoft stocks or financial app, and they're kind of cycling through stories. Personally, that kind of annoys me. I know some people that like that, they like to see that. I like to turn it off, so I'm going to right click, I'm going to hit more, and I'm going to say turn the live tile off, and now I just get a more traditional icon. Let's do that for stocks as well. Resize or more, turn live tile off. So now the money app, if I want to go check the news, I can just click that, fires that up, and now I can see news articles. So this is included with Windows 10. It's pretty cool. You can kind of customize the kind of news that you want. You can see I like trucks and cars and technology, so that's what it's going to pop in there. So that's a live tile. So now whenever I pop that up, I don't see the information scrolling through. I know that's my money app and my news app, and I'll click in there to get them. So that's some information about tiles. There's also what some call the secret start menu. So instead of left clicking on the start menu button, if I right click, I get a lot of common shortcuts right from here. If I want to go to device manager, I just click that. If I want to go to disk management to check my hard drive, I can do that. I want to go into settings. So I want to see what kind of applications are installed, I can click that. Instead of going start, settings, drilling down 3 levels, the secret start menu lets you get there real quick. So again, that's right click on the start menu. I can do shutdown from here, all that good stuff. So take advantage of that. Spend a few minutes, customize your start menu. You'll get benefits the rest of the time you use that computer. Through group policy, if you guys at a business level want to have certain things on everybody's start menu, that's something Apex can do and push out through group policy on your network. So keep that in mind as well. Another thing that we have is Cortana. Okay, you guys, if you have an iPhone, you talk to Siri. If you have a Google, an Android, you talk to Google, and they can give you directions. They can, look things up. They can launch applications. Windows has the same thing now, Windows 10, and they call it Cortana. If I'm set up, which I think I am, I can just talk to her and ask her to do things. Now, I have a headset on, so you won't be able to hear her talk back to me, but you'll see it on the screen. But just know everything she's putting on the screen, she's also talking to me in my earphones, my headphones. So I can do things like, hey, Cortana, play the Eagles on Spotify. So what that did, you guys can't hear the Eagles like I can. I got some nice music playing, but it launched the Spotify application and looked up the Eagles music and started playing that. So Cortana's tied into the operating system and your applications. I can have her launch Excel or Word or open up a certain file. So that's really handy. And I can also do things like, there's some built-in fun stuff like, hey Cortana, rock, paper, scissors. Okay, she just said rock in my ear and threw a rock up. Hey Cortana, flip a coin. Okay, so I think you guys can see all that, and I'm hoping so. But it's also speaking to me in my headset, so it does really good speech recognition. It can launch applications. I can also do things like, "Hey Cortana, remind me to pick up milk on my way home tonight at 5 o'clock." Yes. Okay, so she spoke back to my ears, "Hey, I'll remind you to pick up milk when you on your way home. Is that right?" And I said, "Yes." And now I've got a reminder set on my calendar to pick up milk on my way home. Like I said, it's tied into the operating system, really nice. They're adding lots and lots of additional capabilities to it. You have a Google Home device or Amazon Alexa. There's also now Microsoft Cortana devices. So these guys are in hot competition with each other, which is great for us because the features are just piling on to these things. So that's Cortana. Hopefully that's helpful to you. And they've also added, like your phone, your iPhone, you have the App Store, your Android, you have the Google Play Store, Windows, and I've got this pinned down in my taskbar here, has a Windows Store on your computer. So if you can see that, now I'm scrolling through everything in the Windows Store. Okay, they have apps, games, books, all that stuff, extensions for their web browser. If I click apps, I can scroll through. So this is where I got the Spotify and the Netflix app. There's all kinds of stuff being written for this now as well. A lot of utilities, PDF creator apps, those kind of things. I have a Surface Pro device, which is a touch screen and has a pen. So there's lots of drawboard PDF is really cool. I could have a PDF and just hand mark it up on my screen, and I'm editing right onto that PDF. So a lot of cool stuff in the App Store. Lots of games, I don't play too many of those, but tons of things are coming out for it. And books, if you wanted to get books on your Windows machine, you can do that, or you can download the Kindle app if you have an Amazon subscription already. And I think I have that down over here. Yep, Kindle. So that's an app in the App Store. So the Windows Store is a cool thing. Makes it real easy. Again, if you are a business network user and you don't want your employees going into the store, that can be disabled through group policy if you have the right Windows network environment as well. Okay, they've also added something called the notification center. So like your phone, tons of notifications from different applications that you get on a day-to-day basis. I can click this little down in the bottom right side of the screen. If you can see that, that's the notification center. I can click that and I'll see, like I have a new version of Java that's ready to be installed. Any other notifications here, that reminder for picking up milk, it'll pop up and it'll also show up in this notifications box. I also have settings here. I can turn my Wi-Fi on and off with a click. I can prevent my tablet, so like I said, a Surface Pro, from rotating when I move it around. I can project onto a projector that's in the room. I can connect through a wireless device to a TV if it has the right technology in it. I can get to my network settings. So all these different things are here on the notification center on the action menu, and that's just turned on and off by clicking that button. If you have a tablet, you can swipe in from the right side and access that, and then touch the little settings, and you're good to go. Also, they've spent a lot of time simplifying the settings pages of Windows 10. If I click the Start menu and the little gear icon here says Settings, this is the new settings menu. It's a little different than Control Panel, but they've streamlined things. If I want to go look at my applications I have installed, I can click on that, and it's going to pull up things, and I could click on one, the calculator, uninstall it. Whatever I need to do, I can see what's installed here for my inventory for moving from Windows 7. So a lot of different settings. I'm not going to go through them. Windows 10, especially in the next version that's coming out within the next month or so, they are really tying it into your phone as well. You'll be able to text on your phone right from your screen on your computer. So there's some third-party apps that can do that with Android. If you're on a Mac, you can do that. That's coming to Windows 10, so I don't have to pick up my phone. I can get text notifications, type with my full-size keyboard and mouse, and send that out. So the settings menu greatly improved here, and they've grouped things together for security, privacy. So that should make your job easier once you're on Windows 10. They also added something that I really use every day, all day as I'm working on my computer, and that's called quick access. And if I pull my file browser up, you can see, I'll just make it into a little bit of a smaller window here. Any recent files I've worked on are right here. I don't have to go find them. So if I open a file and save it, a spreadsheet, it's going to show right here. If I'm typing a new email and I hit the attach file button, I don't have to go navigate 5 levels down on my network. It's going to be in this recent files list, and I just click it and it's in there, or I drag it into another application. So it remembers the most recent files that you've used, and the same as it remembers the frequent locations. So folders, you can see I've been in our purchasing folder and sales folder. So I really love that feature. If you try that out, you're going to like it. They also have in the quick access section, you can put folders. So I go to our client folder all the time. I can just click one button and it's pulling that up. I go to my purchasing folder, my sales folder, all that kind of stuff. And the way you get something here, let's go find another one here that I don't have in there. Let's say I wanted a DVR folder, our security camera DVR. If I have to look at that frequently, fortunately I don't. I can just click it, drag it over here, and it will say pin to quick access, and now it's there. I can just, close this out. Anytime I open it, file browser, it's there. If I want to go to the DVR files, I can click it. Okay, it doesn't even look like I have security to do that here. I'll have to check on that. Anyway, very quick shortcuts, and then I can unpin it from quick access because I don't really need to go there. So that's the quick access section. I really find that useful. I won't show it here. Windows 10 has a fully built out tablet mode. So if you have a touchscreen device like a Surface Pro or Surface Book, or a laptop that has a 2-in-1 laptop that the screen flips over, you can put it in a tablet mode, and now it becomes touch friendly. You don't have the little buttons to click on, and there's lots of gestures you can learn and use it very effectively in tablet mode. And the other thing I can't show you here is Windows 10 includes Windows Hello, and I'm just going to flip back to the PowerPoint here. Windows Hello uses biometrics to log you in and access secure areas of your device. So if you have a newer machine that has Windows Hello built into it, most recent Dells, and of course all the Microsoft Surface and Surface Book devices. When I come in and I log into my system, I use Windows Hello, and it recognizes my face and just signs me in instantly. I don't even have to type, I don't have to unlock it. I can also use my finger. It's got a fingerprint sensor on it, but I just unlock it, boot up my machine, look at it, and it logs me in, and it knows it's me. It uses a webcam and a special infrared camera, securely recognizes my face, and I'm in. Very quick. I was able to teach it what I look like with a beard, without a beard, with glasses, without glasses. So it just knows what I look like generally. Not a pretty sight, but it seems to like me. And then I mentioned it before, but BitLocker is included with Windows 10 Pro. So that saves you some money, and that's what you want to use to do the encryption of your devices, where that makes sense. So we're at about 50 minutes. I hope you guys have learned some good tips there. What's the takeaway from today? Start planning now. Figure out where you sit with this. How many Windows 7 machines are in your organization, and what's it going to take to move them to Windows 10? There's less than 14 months left. Don't wait till the very end. It's not going to be pretty. At the same time, and I'll probably have another webinar on this down the line, Server 2008 on the server side, not the workstation end user side, your server side that's running your network. Server 2008 is also going end of life at the same time. So we have to upgrade all of our client and other people that call us their servers to either Server 2016 or Server 2019 that's coming out soon. So there's a lot of big projects out there that an organization might be looking at in the next 13 and a half months, and you don't want to wait till the end. Those server migrations are much more involved, more labor. They affect multiple people in your company or your entire company, so those have to be planned out right and executed well. You may need new server hardware if it's more than 4 or 5 years old as well. Again, those tariffs are coming. You want to look at this, the sooner the better. Keep your costs low, take a Section 179 deduction, take advantage of all of those things together. If you need help, give us a call. Call Apex, go to our website, fill out our form, talk to your account manager, email me, george@apex.com. Any of us would be happy to talk to you. And I mentioned we have that offer through the end of or middle of November next month. If you are not already working with Apex and you need somebody to take a look at your system and inventory the PCs attached to the network, we'll get somebody to do that. In a lot of cases, we can do that remotely. We don't have to come out and give you a picture of how many Windows 7 machines are left. And we could also take a look, if you like, at the Server 2008 situation. So at least you know where you're at and what you're dealing with. That's coming up. Okay, I'm gonna switch over and check the question box if I have any questions. Okay, looks like I have one here. Okay, I've got somebody that wants to sign up for the system inventory. We'll definitely take care of that for you. We've got that noted down. I've got another question. If I already have systems with Windows 10 Home, can I upgrade to Windows 10 Pro? Yes. So the answer is yes, you can. And one of the nice things they've built into Windows 10 is what they call an in-place upgrade. So if you already have a version of Windows 10 and you want to go to a higher version, you can just go into where you see the version of Windows and there's an upgrade button. You can put your credit card in, it'll tell you the amount. I think in some cases, depending on the time you bought it, you can upgrade to Windows from Windows 10 Home to Windows 10 Pro for $99. Sometimes it's $199 depending on the situation. And you basically pay for it. It's downloaded and it's very quick, and they just enable all additional Windows 10 Pro features. It's not a very disruptive operation at all. So if you have relatively recent machines, Windows 10 Home, that's a good option for you to get on to Windows 10 Pro so you can join it to the domain. Another question is, can I make the start menu larger? Yes, so let me close this question and answer box, click out of the PowerPoint. There we go. Let me minimize so you can see my desktop. I think what they're asking is if I pop this up and I don't have a ton of room to put everything I want, I think I've actually sized mine. You can just move your mouse over the right side till you get the left-right arrow icon, and you can size it and make it wider and lay it out how you want. So great question. There's a lot of customizability on the start menu. If you go to YouTube and you say start menu tips and tricks on Windows 10, you will see a ton of things that I didn't even show you that are in there. They have so many features in there. That's pretty cool. Let's go take a look and see if we have any other questions. Okay, I got two more people who want to do the system inventory. That's fantastic. We'd love to help you guys out. And that looks like all the questions that I have. So let me flip back here real quick. Just have one more thing to make sure you guys know. Again, we are recording this and we will put it on our YouTube page. Generally takes us a few days, so probably middle of next week to end of next week. It'll be on our YouTube page. You can watch it, go through those tips, pause it, try it out on your system, and then share it with anybody that you like. And we will send an email out to anybody that registered for this, so you will get that link. But you can always just go to apex.com, scroll to the bottom, click the YouTube link, and we are good to go. So hope you got some good information. I am looking for topics that you guys would like to see. So if you have anything you would like to see us do on a future webinar, you want me to get an engineer on with me, I'd be happy to do that. Send me your feedback. What do you guys like to see? What would be valuable to you? You know, these things are free, but hopefully you're getting some good value out of them and get some good content. I'd like to keep doing that. And if you haven't already, go to the YouTube page, look at those productivity webinars, the Excel and Google and Outlook. There's some really good tips in there for you and your team. And the price is right. Okay, you guys have a great day. Really appreciate you joining us, and we're going to go ahead and close the webinar down now. Have a great day.